Hey guys, this video is going to show you how to do your outlines. Um, we're all kind of at different places right now in the outline process. Some of us started our outlines on Monday, and some of us, this might be the first time that you're actually looking at how to do it. Please be patient with the start of this video. I know some of this might be repeat for some of you, but please just make sure that you watch it. This would be a great time to double check to make sure that you've done everything correctly as well. So just even if you've done your outline, go ahead and make sure that it's open and make sure that you've done all the things that I'm telling you to do. So in order to do your outline, you do need to have a couple of things ready. The first thing that you need to have out is your note card that we made on Monday that has your thesis statement on it. We wrote those together using the formula that we had discussed last week for our thesis statement, so please make sure that is out. The other thing that you're going to need to have out or at the ready is going to be your pre-write. Mine is going to be this right here because we did ours in class and I wrote it on paper. So here's mine. Yours might be in a tab up here because you opened it from Drive or something like that. So maybe you came in, found your pre-write, and just had it open in a tab. The next thing that you're going to need to have open is the actual outline. If you started it on Monday, you need to go find this in Drive. If you haven't started it yet at all, you need to log into your Schoology page and log into your hour, and you will find it over here on the right hand side. Okay, so this is if you haven't started it yet. You'll go ahead and click literary analysis outline. You'll click outline template and then go ahead and have it do that make a copy. This is what it should look like when it opens up. So what I want you to do right now is go ahead and pause this video. Make sure that you have your note card with your thesis statement, your pre-write paper open in a tab, and then make sure that you have your outline in front of you. So pause this video and do that now. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on the outline. Again, I know that some of this is going to be review for some of you because you already did this with me in class on Monday, but this would be a great opportunity to make sure that you have everything on there. So the first thing that I want you to do is make sure that you have this saved in the right place and that it's named the right thing. So you can go ahead and delete copy of, and then up here where you have literary analysis outline, go ahead and just put your first and last name in there, and you could even put your hour if you wanted to. Okay, and then click on that folder to move it to your English folder in your Drive. Okay, so once that's done, now we're ready to start on our outline. So if you look through here, the highlighted things are going to show that those are going to be separate paragraphs that you're going to have. And then you'll also see that these body paragraphs, it aligns with your thesis points. And remember, we said that our 3 thesis points were those 3 literary devices at the end of our thesis statement. So the first thing that I want you to do is go ahead and get your thesis statement written in there. Remember, this came from the note card that we made that followed that formula that we learned last week. So remember, my thesis statement was in Breathe, Anna Nalick shows that life goes on regardless of the bad things that happen by using personification, similes, and idioms. Okay, so make sure that in your thesis statement, make sure that the only things that are capitalized are your song title and the author's name or the band's name or something like that. Okay, your literary devices should not be capitalized. So remember, our thesis statement is found in the intro paragraph, and it's also found in our conclusion paragraph. So we can go ahead and highlight that, Command C, and go all the way down here to our conclusion paragraph, and where it says restate thesis statement, remember to type in there, you double click on the line, and then Command V, type it in again. okay? And if you want to make your font a different color, that's totally fine with me. You definitely don't have to, but if you want to, that's fine. All right, let's go ahead and fill in some of our, or fill in our thesis statement. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead and pause the video and do that now. Or if you want to pause the video and check your thesis statement, you can do that now as well. So the next thing that we're going to do is plug in some information for our body paragraph. So right here we have first thesis point, and then the next highlighted thing is the second thesis point, and then this one is our third thesis point. And remember, those are our body paragraphs. So when you look at your thesis statement, those 3 literary devices at the end are your 3 thesis points. So my first thesis point is personification, my second thesis point is similes, and my third thesis point is idioms. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and label those paragraphs. So you're going to first come here to this first thesis point. Don't worry where it says second most important literary device. That's something that we're not going to worry about this year. And the first one is going to be personification. So I'm going to double click that line and just write personification. And then my second thesis point is going to be about similes. And then my third thesis point is going to be about idioms. So that just kind of shows me that's what each paragraph is going to be about. So if you haven't done that already, go ahead and pause this video and go write what each of those paragraphs, which literary device you're going to be talking about. So now it's time to go ahead and put in some topic sentences. Remember, the nice thing about your outline is it doesn't have to all be in order. You can go in and pick and choose which parts you want to work on first. Right now we're really just getting in the easy parts, the ones that we already know or the ones that we don't have to really think about. So topic sentences will be next. So all of our topic sentences are going to use the same formula or the same format, and that's going to be literary device plus theme statement, okay? So the first topic sentence is going to be for this first thesis point. So I want you to double click that line, and then this is the formula that you're going to use. So you'll say, for mine, it'll be personification is used to show that life goes on regardless of the bad things that happen. Okay, so I have my literary device plus my theme statement. And again, if you want to make that a different color, that's fine. Excuse me. So then what I'm going to do is just go ahead and highlight that again and copy it. So Command C or edit copy, and then I'm going to paste that into the next topic sentence for my second thesis point. And instead of personification, it's going to be similes are used to show that life goes on regardless of the bad things that happen. And then the very same thing for that third thesis point. So go ahead and copy and paste it in there. And instead of personification or similes, it's going to be idioms are used to show that life goes on regardless of the bad things that happen. So now it's time to start plugging in some quotes from my song. So I'm going to work in this first body paragraph, this second thesis point, and I'm going to plug in some quotes because you'll see you have evidence, explanation, and then the third time, evidence, explanation. Okay, so that's enough room for your 3 quotes. So you see first quote from your piece, second quote from your piece, and third quote from your piece. Before we go any further with those quotes, why don't you go ahead and pause the video and go get your topic sentences typed in for each of your body paragraphs for your first, second, and third thesis point. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and plug in your pieces of evidence or your quotes from your piece. So this is where you need to make sure that you have that pre-write handy. So you might have it in another tab, or you might have it, if you did it on paper, just have it beside you. So this is where we're going to plug those quotes in, okay? So my first quote was, "Words are threatening the life it belongs to." Okay, remember that since it's a quote from a song, it should be in quotation marks, so make sure that you do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and leave this explanation part blank right now and go ahead and plug in my second quote from the song, which is "Words are my diary screaming out loud." And then I'm going to go ahead and plug in my third quote from my piece, which is "accusing their eyes." So remember, each of these is a quote from the song, so it will have the quotation marks around it. All right. Then I can go on to my next. Remember, this one is about similes, and I can plug in my 3 similes. So my first one was "we're like cars on a cable." And then my next simile was "life's like an," I think, wait, "life's like an hourglass glued to the table." And then my last one was "you're just as far in as you'll ever be out." So that's the third quote for that literary device. So what I want you to do now is go ahead and pause this video and go type in all of your quotes for each of your different body paragraphs. So make sure that you have that pre-write open. Go ahead and type in all of those quotes, okay? Don't worry about the explanation yet, just do the quotes. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to come up here to our introduction paragraph, okay? The first part of your introduction paragraph is that attention grabber. And the purpose of an attention grabber is to grab your reader's attention right away and make them want to keep reading your piece, okay? As we actually get into the typing, you need to remember that you cannot use the word "you" or "your" or "me" or "my" or "I," any of those words. Those words are off limits, so just be careful when you're doing this. So my attention grabber for this is going to be just something like, "sometimes life can get really difficult. There is no roadmap. And there are no obvious solutions to life's problems." Okay, so just something that I chose to go with, something that my reader might be able to relate to. Somebody could read that and go, "Yeah, me too. I wonder what this paper is about." That's really just 1 or 2 sentences in length just to kind of grab your reader's attention. Then it's time to move on to the background information. I do have 2 things that I specifically want you to include. First, what album the song was on, and then what year the song was released. And so to get any of that information, you're going to have to just Google your song and find that out. Mine is "Wreck of the Day," and it was released on April 19th, 2013. Now, your album that it was on, album titles are italicized, so please make sure that you italicize that. If you just know the month and the year, that's fine for when the song was released. And then you just need any other interesting facts about your song. So one of mine that I found was that it appeared, or sorry, I forgot this one first. It was Nalek's first radio hit that went 3 times platinum on the Billboard Top 100 charts. And then I also found out that it has appeared on many popular TV shows, including Grey's Anatomy and One Tree Hill. And since those are TV shows, they will be italicized. Okay, and then the cool thing is that your introduction paragraph is done. Okay, so now we can move on and look at your at your first body paragraph, the paragraph about personifications. So the nice thing is that you already have your topic sentence in there. Actually, before I go on, why don't you go ahead and go do your introduction paragraph now. Get that done. So pause this video, and then once you have that done, go ahead and push play again. Okay, so now we're ready to go ahead and start the personification paragraph, or whatever your first thesis point paragraph is. So we have our topic sentence in there that tells us what we're going to be talking about. So I'm talking about how personification is used to show that life goes on regardless of the bad things that happen. So the purpose of this whole paragraph is to show your readers that in fact the literary device that you talked about is used to show or to prove that theme statement, because remember, that theme statement is what we're trying to prove throughout this entire paper. So for each of these, you are going to do two things. For each of these explanations, you're going to explain how the quote proves or connects with your theme statement. So the first thing that I want you to do is you need to actually explain what your quote means, okay? So for time, I'm going to sneak over here to the one that I already did and just copy and paste this one quickly, because that's what I came up with. So in this quote, Nalick is showing that the words are threatening their life. This is an example of personification because words are not able to threaten one's life. By saying this, she is implying that the words inside of her or her feelings are hurting so badly that she feels like her life is in danger. So that part right there is my explanation of the quote. And then this next part right here talks about how it connects to the theme. So if you even want to divide those out into two separate bullet points, that's fine. Remember, you're explaining the quote, what does it mean, and then you're explaining how it supports your theme statement, okay? So again, I'm going to come over here and steal this because I've already done it and put it in there. Remember, you just double click the lines and then you begin your typing, okay? So my next one was words are my diary screaming out loud. So I'd said in this quote, Nalick is showing that her words are her diary. She is also saying that the words are screaming. By this, she means that the words inside of her head are so loud she feels like they are screaming. So that's kind of an explanation of the quote, but what I need to do next is say this supports the theme that life goes on regardless of the bad things that happen, because it is a representation of some of the things that might happen when bad things are happening to someone, or something like that, okay? You're really going to have to think about this part, okay? This is honestly the hardest part of the outline, the explanation of how your evidence supports your thesis. But I promise you, if you spend some time thinking about this, it will make your rough draft go so smoothly. So really take some time and think about what the quotes means and think about how it supports your theme, okay? And then obviously you would do the next one for accusing their eyes. So I also have that one too. So there's that one. Okay. So that is my first thesis point, my for personification, where where I have my topic sentence, my 3 quotes from the song, and then I explain each of those quotes. Okay. That would be there. So the next thing I have is the concluding sentence that sums up the point and connects to the thesis statement, and then my transition. So I double click this line. Your conclusion sentences will look very similar to mine, and that's okay. So the concluding sentence for this one might be something like, let me just copy this. From the examples above, one can see that personification is used to show that life goes on regardless of the bad things that happen. So that's my conclusion sentence, and then I need my transition sentence, because I have another one. So another literary device used in Breathe is similes. Okay, so it just tells you what's in the next one. So go ahead and pause this video And I want you to try doing some of those explanations on your own. If you need help with that, if you don't understand that, please don't hesitate to throw your hand in the air and let me know, and I'd be happy to clarify that better for you. So go ahead and pause this video and try some of those quotes just with your first thesis point on your own. Okay, so hopefully those went okay. I feel like you know what you need to do for the explanation of your evidence for your second thesis point and your third thesis point. So I want to come down here to the conclusion paragraph because that's a part where a lot of people often have trouble. So remember, your conclusion paragraph has three main parts. It's your summary of your main points, it's a restatement of your thesis statement, and then it's the call to action, okay? So we've already have our thesis statement in there. We copied and pasted that. That's one of the first things that we did, so we don't have to worry about that. So the first thing that we're going to do is write our summaries. These are usually about 1 to 2 sentences for each point, and they're just reminding your reader what you talked about. So they might look something like this. So again, I've already done this, so I'm just going to copy. Looks like I've done the personification. So personification is giving lifelike characteristics to inanimate objects. Nalick uses examples such as, words are my diary screaming out loud, to prove that life goes on regardless of the bad things that happen. Now, make sure that these three summaries are also in the order of your thesis points. So remember, if I look at my thesis statement, this was thesis point 1, similes were thesis point 2, and idioms were thesis point 3. So this next one is going to be about, I'm going to summarize the similes paragraph. So Nalick also makes the connection of how life goes on. Might not say that because I just said that above. So how about I say Nalick also uses similes to prove her theme. She compares two unlike things to give the reader a better picture of what is happening in the story. So something like that, okay? And then you would just go ahead, and then this is where the summary for idioms would go. So hopefully you kind of see what I'm doing there. Just like I said, 1 to 2 sentences that summarizes just what you said up in the paragraph, because it's been a while since your readers read about personification. So, all right, and then this is the part that everybody usually struggles with the most, and it's the call to action. The answer to the so what question, or it's a return to your attention grabber. This is the last thing that your reader reads, so what message do you want to leave them with? And so this is usually going to be about 2 to 3 sentences, and the easiest thing is to return to your attention grabber. Kind of continue with whatever you set up there. So my attention grabber was, sometimes life can get really difficult. There is no roadmap and there is no obvious solutions to life's problems. So I might say something like, while, or something like, oops, while there is no roadmap or obvious solutions to life's problems, one can see from the lyrics from the song Breathe that life will still go on regardless of the bad things that happen. And while there is no roadmap, sometimes the best solution is to just cradle is to just, I'm going to put this in quote, cradle your head in your hands and breathe. Just relax things will work out the way that they are supposed to. Okay, so what do you want to leave your reader with? So that's what I'm going to choose to have as my conclusion or my call to action. Okay, so that's your outline. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to come ask me or message me on Schoology or email me or anything like that. Remember, these outlines are due for you on the Thursday, Friday block. So my best piece of advice is to open up this example in Schoology, and you want to make yours look like mine using your own songs. So good luck, and let me know if you need any help.